to Bad Movie Beatdown. Now, whether you like it or not, Hollywood has perfected the art of effects-heavy, script-light blockbusters that churn out millions of dollars in profit. And who wouldn't want to copycat that? And sure enough, Korea tried to play Hollywood at its own game with D-War, or retitled Dragon Wars for the American market. D-War was clearly made with eyes on the international market. It is a mostly English language film with recognisable American actors and eye-popping visual effects. Unfortunately, it has one major downfall. The script is incredibly dumb. And given that we're in a genre that's ruled over by Roland Emmerich, that should give you some idea of how stupid this script is. In fact, the film's opening narration should give you more than an idea.
Every 500 years, a young woman is born. A woman who possesses a spirit power that can turn a serpent into the mightiest dragon of all. A good serpent will use this mighty power to protect the universe. An evil serpent will use the mighty power to destroy the world. Now is the time for the spirit to be awakened. Now is the time for destiny to unfold.
Okay, I'm already perplexed and the title hasn't even come up on screen yet. Good start! So the movie opens with this giant crater as news reporter Ethan, played by Jason Burr, arrives to report the story. I should mention that he is a TV news reporter and apparently he doesn't have any sort of crew and shoots footage on a consumer-grade camcorder. The team uncover a scale, prompting Ethan to flashback to 15 years earlier in an antique shop when he was a child. The shop is owned by Jack, played by Robert Forster. Sadly, I can't even say that this is the worst thing Robert Forster's been involved in. A case containing a scale spontaneously bursts open, pouring some sort of energy into Ethan. Jack feigns a heart attack to distract Ethan's father. Cue Robert Forster having to spout ludicrous exposition without pissing himself laughing.
Finally, I found you.
I have you all to myself, little boy.
Do you realize what you've just seen? What you've just seen was the scale of the Umugi itself, and the light that was the light from heaven.
Light from heaven? Imuki?
Sir, could you step back? You're starting to scare me.
Long ago, there lived great serpents called Imugis. They lived in the heavens above with their legions of followers. Every 500 years, one Imugi was rewarded for its good deeds with a chance to become a celestial dragon. In order to become a celestial dragon, the Imugi needed to receive from heaven the gift of the Yuiju.
You know, when you're aiming for an international audience, do not pick a complex Asian legend that would sound ridiculous to Western audiences.
There was among the great serpents an evil one, Buraki. He coveted Yuiju. His followers designed to possess it, and this heaven could not allow.
Okay, so we're having a flashback in a flashback? 6 minutes in and already you're incompetent.
All heaven could do was to send down its best warriors, Hadam and his master Buchun, to protect Yaiju at all costs from the evil Buraki. Unfortunately, the evil Buraki also knew where to find Yaiju.
What are you talking about?
I think we're all asking ourselves that question, kid. I mean, it's hard to keep track when the things the audience are meant to remember are in Korean, which would be unfamiliar to most audiences. A baby is born called Narin with a mark on its shoulder that we don't see for some reason, meaning that she contains the Yuiju, which means she is to be sacrificed to the good Imugi when the Yuiju matures at age 20. How much more of this shit do I have to say? I don't understand half of it and I'm probably butchering the Korean pronunciation. Okay, hold on, calm down. Narin falls in love with Harum, who was trained to protect the Yuiju by his master Bochun, who looks like a Korean Gandalf. Harum is given a pendant from heaven, which is the same pendant we saw with Ethan earlier, showing that he is the protector of the good Imugi. But soon the evil Buraki, the dark Imugi, comes after the Yuiju, using his CGI army stolen from the Lord of the Rings films. Quick, get Viggo Mortensen, Ian McKellen on the phone, and get Orlando Bloom too! He's good for target practice! The Atrox army utterly decimate the village with absolutely enormous explosions. I'm pretty sure you don't want to kill the woman you came here for, but you're doing a damn good job at it. The Witch King doppelganger army storm the village looking for the woman with a dragon mark on her shoulder. Could it be any more obvious that their blades aren't making contact? They capture Naren, but luckily Bocha and Harem come to the rescue. Harem throws away the pendant, for reasons that aren't really explained, and they commit suicide together before the Black Emoji can eat them. Christ, it took them 15 minutes to tell us all this exposition. They might as well not have bothered. Jack hands Ethan the pendant before dropping a hell of a bombshell.
I know this isn't easy to believe, but do you want to know something that's even harder to believe? I am Book-chan, and you are Haru. This is your second life on Earth, and your second chance to protect Yaiju.
I'm sorry, I hate to say this, but you're out of your fucking mind! Go back, Daddy, go back! Jack tells Ethan that he must find a girl named Sarah who will also bear the dragon mark before the flashback finishes. After that explanation of the plot, I can safely say that I'm more confused than I was before. Ethan goes up to co-worker Bruce, played by Craig Robinson? What the hell are you doing here? Ethan, being a well-trained reporter, apparently completely believes this unbelievable myth and follows the story as such.
Hold up, man, rewind.
We gotta find the girl.
What the hell are you talking about?
I think she's somehow linked to the accident.
Who is she?
The girl.
Could you just hold on a bit and explain it to him? Actually, that might be a bad idea. Meanwhile, Sarah sees Ethan's news report and freaks out when she sees the scale. She rushes home and starts looking through a book in Korean she keeps in her drawer. Well, of course.
Are you okay? Listen, something's happening to me. I'm really scared. And I know it sounds crazy, but I think that these are the only things that can protect me.
Well, I can't say you're making a valid excuse for acting like a crazy person, but don't worry, the Men in White coats will be coming to get you very shortly.
Okay, look, why don't you get some rest and we'll go out for a drink later. Come on, girl. When was the last time we went out, huh?
Because alcohol always helps with fits of insanity. But Sarah just wants to go home, but just as she steps outside, some thugs attack her. But here's Jack with some forced foo, including taking a guy out by simply pushing him. And then he simply walks off again. Why didn't he take her to his apprentice since he knows where she is? Oh, right, because we needed a more contrived reason to get them together.
Are you telling me that this old man knocked out those three guys all by himself, then just ran off?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, hey, you must be Sarah, the girl who beat up those three thugs.
What the hell is that guy doing in the police station? And she didn't beat up all those guys, you deaf git! Meanwhile, Ethan goes to Jack's antique store. What's weird about this is that there was a scene 5 minutes ago where an evil guy, we know he's evil because he's dressed in black, walks into Jack's store, but it was never followed up on. So clearly this was the other half of the scene.
I'm looking for Jack.
Jack.
His name is on the storefront?
There's no Jack here.
There is only Zul.
Suka.
Excuse me?
I understood you because I read the subtitles. But this turns out to be a dream, making this scene completely pointless. You know, we're having a hard enough time figuring out what the hell is going on without pointless dream sequences. Bruce is still having trouble finding Sarah, but that doesn't matter because here comes contrivance as the photographer walks in with his scoop, leading Ethan right to her.
Oh my god, thank god.
Cut it out with the dream sequences! Her birthmark starts giving her pain, so she admits herself into hospital. Her friend goes to pick up her things.
Ooh la la.
Cut it out!
What?
Are you 5 years old?
Oh, come on, what's the rush?
Chris, she's in the hospital.
Oh, I know.
Uh-oh, intimacy, you know what that means.
It sounded like something hit the side of the house.
Death! No, go back into the house, not around the corner. See, now there's the evil dude. No, don't run towards the giant serpent, you fool. Oh, see, you're dead now. You're dead because you're stupid. You're stupid and you're dead. Sarah wakes up only to discover she's locked under police guard. I initially thought this was because her friend was found dead, but later we're told that they believe her birthmark might be an infection for some reason, and so she's under quarantine, which makes her friend's death entirely pointless. A good way of proving that you're sane is hysterically attacking the police. You know, I think she was a couple of sandwiches short of a picnic before this dragon nonsense went down. Ethan and Bruce go to Sarah's house, find out what hospital she's at, and leave. Making this scene, oh, you get the drill. Why didn't they get this information from the news office anyway? So Ethan goes to the hospital, and despite being under quarantine, they allow him to visit her. This movie makes no sense! It's like they took scenes from 10 different scripts and put them into one big incomprehensible mess. There's also this annoying comic relief subplot regarding this zookeeper who saw the dark emoji feasting on some elephants. Naturally, they don't believe him, so he gets sent to a crazy house. First of all, clearly this giant serpent has been travelling, so how come no one else has seen him? Second, surely there would be CCTV footage. I mean, all this subplot does is provide more plot holes and generally be annoying. This subplot reaches its punchline when the emoji circles the building looking for Sarah.
I hate to say this, but the giant snake is in this hospital right now. Look, out your window.
Time again. He has to be hospitalized.
Yay! It's a dumb version of one of those stupid look behind you gags. That was worth this subplot.
Gotta get Sarah out of here quick. Come on.
Wait, why? Did the Doctor become aware of the film's plot? Oh right, it's because he's Jack, but even the characters don't acknowledge it. The emoji chases the pair through the car park, and Craig Robinson clearly hasn't had enough weed to imagine he's being chased by a giant serpent. No sooner than they escape do they suddenly crash into the evil guy who just happened to be walking down the middle of the road. For some reason. The evil guy turns out to be the Atrox army leader. He attacks them briefly, but he gets defeated by someone else driving into him, and even faker this time. And I have no idea what he was doing since he was slowly walking into its path. Oh look! Headlights! Meanwhile, in Jack's antique store, the Atrox leader summons his army from the scroll so he can help the Baraki become a dragon. So if Jack is protecting the Yui-Ju, why doesn't he just destroy the scroll so the army can't be summoned? Oh right, because it makes too much sense! The driver drops Ethan and Sarah off, but it turns out the driver was Jack in disguise. For crying out loud, the dude's a Deus Ex Machina machine! Meanwhile, the FBI, including Elizabeth Pena, try to work out what is going on.
Could be a prehistoric animal, or some of our agents have found some similarities to an old legend.
A legend?
Oh, so the American FBI is familiar with an old Asian legend, are they? The FBI deduce that they need to find Sarah and start their search. At the beach, Ethan and Sarah are also trying to work out what is going on.
What if I'm the cause, the reason for all of this?
You know that's not true.
Yes, she is! She's the target because she has the power! And then they start kissing each other. I know they were together in a previous life, but they've only known each other a couple of hours, tops! Ethan takes Sarah to see a hypnotherapist, played by Holmes Osborne, between Richard Kelly movies, to analyse her dreams. She has visions of her previous life and starts pulling an exorcist by floating above the bed. But no time to consider this, here comes the Baraki!
Sorry, Doc, I gotta go.
We're just gonna leave you to die now, bye! The Imugi chases them briefly and then stops for some reason. Oh right, shitty writing. And why yes, of course this sequence was completely redundant. Why you ask? They contact Bruce to get a helicopter out of the city. Before he leaves, Bruce hands Ethan a gun, although that's hard to tell because of the distant camera angles. But don't worry if you missed it because it never amounts to anything. The Baraki attacks again and they run into Bruce again. What is the point of having him leave and then running into him 2 minutes later? This writing is so sloppy! But then that turns out to be pointless because he crashes into another car in less than 30 seconds. Did the writer have ADD? He seems incapable of focusing on anything beyond a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, the Atrox leader makes a speech to his army of Lord of the Rings rip-offs.
A new power is rising. Its victory is at hand.
Elsewhere, the Baraki continues to chase Sarah and Ethan as they try to get to the top of the US Bank Tower, where the helicopter is waiting.
I need all units to the Liberty Building. Repeat, I need all units to the Liberty Building.
It's the Library Tower, not the Liberty Building, cretins! They get to it, but the Baraki scales the building and bites the helicopter. Sarah and Ethan jump before the Imugi throws it to the ground. The Imugi is about to strike when attack helicopters fire upon it, giving us our King Kong moment. I would rather watch the 70s version of Kong than this gibberish. Now we get to the real reason this movie was made, as Atrox's army attacks the city. The film forgets about the plot and the two leads for a very long period of time as we see endless scenes of plotless carnage. And whilst this is an amazing special effects showcase with the most carnage seen outside of a Michael Bay movie, it is all completely irrelevant to the plot. Since this movie was clearly designed around this sequence, why didn't they focus on this army as opposed to a bunch of bullshit about dragons? It just keeps going on for nearly 10 minutes and the carnage soon becomes mind-numbingly repetitive. Oh, and check out this glaring effects error. Wow, it's an amazing disappearing army! Amidst the carnage, Ethan and Sarah are picked up by the FBI, who take them to a warehouse with the intention of killing Sarah.
We know about you, Ichu. The department has a very sophisticated paranormal unit.
If that's the case, where's Mulder and Scully, huh? Or at the very least, Robert Patrick. Ethan saves Sarah getting hit in the arm, which she doesn't show any trace of emotion to. Although given she hasn't acted like a normal human being for the past 70 minutes, I guess this is a bit late to start. The other FBI agent has an attack of conscience and shoots the agent before letting them go, which means the entire FBI subplot was completely pointless. Glad to see they're not even concealing the fact that they're wasting my time. As they drive away, they get chased by Bulkos, Atrox's flying minions, who seem to hit time charges on the side of the road. That is until they score a direct hit, flipping the car over and rendering them unconscious. When they wake, they're in the middle of Mordor? Seriously, Peter Jackson should sue because it looks f***ing identical. Where the hell are we? Is this real, or is it inside the heads of our two lead characters? Or are they clearly in front of a bad green screen effect? They bring her to the altar, ready to sacrifice her to the Baraki, but luckily Ethan's pendant is a giant Deus Ex Machina as it suddenly comes to life and unleashes a power burst that destroys the whole Atrox army. How convenient! But the Atrox leader is somehow still alive and engages Ethan in a sword battle. But it's Deus Ex Machina time again as he strikes the pendant again, making him disintegrate. Seriously, this is super duper cheating. How come the pendant didn't come to life before? This movie would be over! The Baraki comes to life, but the good emoji suddenly attacks it and we get the dragon wars we were promised. Well, actually, no we don't, because neither are dragons yet. The pair fight, which reminds me of Mega Shark vs Giant Octopus so much it's not even funny. And since these two emojis look virtually identical, I can't even tell who's winning. The Baraki wins, and even though the emoji is evil and will spell doom for all of mankind, Sarah submits herself to him anyway.
You knew this had to happen. They've waited 500 years for me. It's the only way.
I'm like gonna die now. Talk to you laters. The Baraki is about to absorb the Yui Ju and Sarah redirects it into the good emoji before she dies. How? I don't have a f***ing clue. And to be honest, who cares by this point? The pair fight again with the good emoji transforming into a proper fully fledged dragon. Finally, 78 minutes into the movie and we actually see a dragon! But don't get too attached, because after a quick 2-minute fight, the dragon incinerates the Baraki. Well, that was an anticlimax. The spirit of Sarah then appears to Ethan.
Ethan, don't be sad. I'll love you for all of eternity.
The dragon, after having a little cry, takes the Yuiju and ascends up to heaven. Ethan is left to walk back alone. Hello? Anyone there? Could anyone tell me how the fuck I get back to LA? Hello? Hello? I'm scared. D-War makes Hollywood blockbusters look like Shakespeare. The only good thing that you can say about it is that the special effects are decent, even if they aren't quite up to Hollywood standard. But the rest? Where do I even begin? The plot, intended as a meeting of East and West, uses a complex Asian legend that becomes a brick wall that prevents the audience from getting into the story, and what little story there is badly written, filled with pointless plot strands and scenes that only confuse the audience further. The dialogue is written with a complete tin ear, loaded with cliches and characters that don't act like normal human beings throughout the entire running time. Even the actors look bored, especially Craig Robinson, and act so little they might as well be robots. And, as a cherry on top, there is blatant thievery from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, showing just how little creativity went into this monster. The end result is incomprehensible nonsense. And despite being called Dragon Wars, there is only one dragon, and it only appears at the very end. A more accurate title would be Serpent Wars. I'm Matthew Buck, beating down bad movies everywhere.